devil is one of the biggest deceivers in the world. And I just want the record to reflect that niggas will deflect, when the reality is the reality, man. We all know what a civilian is. A civilian is somebody that lives according to the law. When you decide that you're going in a gang, and you decide that you're putting hits out on people, you're in criminal activity, you're no longer a civilian. That's the definition of a civilian. When you profit off the streets and you engage yourself in street life, you are not a civilian. You then are bound by the laws of the street of the world. You're shooting at people, telling people to shoot at people, getting in shootouts, causing dramas, saying you blood and you bust your gun and all this. You're not a civilian. I don't give a fuck how you perceive, right? Because for that reality, everybody is a civilian before they tell, right? Most of the gang members, is 17 to 18. Wack went to jail when he was 17 to 18. This is a 20-something-year-old man that's involved in street life, that's engaging in street life, that decided, I'm getting involved in the streets. There's consequences for street life. You're not a civilian. Once you engage in criminal activity over a long period of time, you get involved in gang activity, not a civilian. You see somebody as a civilian, you're not a civilian. You're just not. I don't give a fuck how you sugarcoat it, how you try to, Danny, the man is not a civilian. To this day, he's telling dudes that's not civilians on live to suck his dick, and niggas that died from their set can rest in peace and do something when they see him. He's not a civilian. He's engaged in a life that is going to cause him to lose his life or go to prison. He's not a civilian. He does nothing according to being a civilian. The only thing that he did like a civilian was tell. So everybody that tell is just a civilian now. So that's what we saying. But the thing is, not only wasn't he a civilian when he told, after he told, he still didn't conduct himself as a civilian. Right? Because a lot of times you realize, I'm not really built for the street shit. You get in trouble, you get locked up, you go to jail. The snitches tell on somebody and they come home and they be like, you know what? I'm changing my ways. You know why? Because I realize I'm not cut out for the street shit. I'm really a civilian. Snitches that are civilians don't go to jail. Don't snitch, come home, and still involve themselves in criminal activity, involve themselves in a lifestyle that's disaccording to the law. They just don't. That's just not the activities of a civilian, right? So because you don't respect, there's a lot of quote unquote gangsters that really think they're gangsters that I don't respect. Because the streets don't respect you, doesn't make you a civilian. I'm a man of integrity, right? So the fact that I no longer live in the streets or involve myself in street activity does have nothing to do with the fact that I'm gonna cooperate with the police for anything other than something, that's gonna help and make sure that the streets are safe, right? I'm not gonna get involved with streets because I get locked up. I'm not gonna talk to the police because I get locked up and I don't want to deal with consequences of my activities. I'm not giving police information about somebody else's crime that has nothing to do with me. See, when you really a gangster, you make those criminals and those people turn themselves in, right? When you really a man of integrity, nigga can't commit certain crimes and kids and certain shit in your community. They gonna go to the police on their own. That's when you're a gangster. So there's never gonna be a need for me to go to the police and have a conversation about somebody else's crime. So what I'm trying to say is the civilian shit, right? You know that 6ix9ine doesn't think he's a civilian. 100% sure he don't think he's a civilian. He moved every day like he a civilian. You didn't do an interview because you thought you can change his mind to make him think he was a civilian. People been telling me he's a civilian. When he was locked up facing 40 years and told on niggas, he knew he wasn't built for that. He knew he was a civilian. He ain't changed he didn't change his step. He didn't change his language. He ain't do nothing different. He still moved according to street shit. You didn't think that you was gonna be the one that go have a conversation with this grown ass man who just escaped 40 years for telling on somebody and make him think he was a civilian. No, you did it for clout, right? Because if you just wanted to help little Danny, quote unquote, understand something, then you would have just interviewed you'd have just met up with little Danny. Academics would have called, yo, let's meet up and just have a conversation. You know, because I don't give a fuck. I want you to realize you're not a gangster. No, you wanted some views, my nigga. You wanted some clout. You wanted to be able to say that you wanted to do some shit that's just for anything for clickbait. You part of this era where any niggas do anything for clickbait. So that was your whole goal. Your whole goal was you needed clickbait. You wanted to be relevant. You wanted to be able to say you did something different. You wanted to try to justify being a fucking bozo. So what you did was you decided this is going to give me some shock value. People will want to pay attention. I get a lot of views with this. And that's what you did. Because that's who you are. You did that. That's what you did because that's who you are. That's who you've always been. You know what I'm saying? You do shit because you just want some level of attention. You too old for it. You know, that's all it was about. You didn't want to tell Danny that he's not a gangster, because if you wanted to tell Danny he's not a gangster, Academics is your man. You could have said, Academics, I want to meet up with Danny, quote unquote, as you call him, and say, yo, I want to have a meeting with you. Me and you can have a conversation. Because you know you're not a gangster. So I want you to understand that. No. You went on Academics podcast so you can get some views and get some clickbait and do anything for clout, whether it's negative attention, any attention. It's called being clout whores, right? Niggas don't care about what kind of attention they get no more. Any kind of attention is okay for them. Long as people are talking about them. That's a strategy. You know, these niggas feed so much, they need attention so much that they'll do anything possible to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, really. They will do anything possible to get attention. And that's what this is about. So stop with the civilian shit, man. You know what a civilian is, just like I know what a civilian is. You know when you're engaging in criminal activity and profiting off street life, you're not no civilian, just like I know. You know, you understand that. We all know that. We're 100% aware of that. So just say you want some clout. Say you want to try to get the nigga to fight Blueface. Say you trying to get a boxing match set up so you can get some money. Say you doing it because you want some money. You know the interview is free. You're not gonna charge the nigga for an interview, because the bottom line is, why would he pay you for an interview? He the person they want to hear. Why would a nigga have to pay you to do an interview? Nobody gives a fuck what you say. You trying to make yourself relevant. That's what you do. You say dumb shit and do dumb shit with any level of anything, so that you can make yourself relevant. This is who you are. This is what you are. So, nobody's fooled by that. You didn't pay. Of course nobody paid you for an interview. You did it for free. You benefit off of it. You benefit off of it. The only thing you do is make anybody that co-sign you look crazy, but you don't give a fuck about that. Like you said, you bound to your old rules. You have no integrity and no morals and no honor. You don't give a fuck about. Like you said, it's all this shit is fake, this and that. So, according to you, you can continue to live and do whack shit, because at this point, Everything is fake and it's not real and there's no codes. So you don't have to have integrity because there's no codes. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have integrity. What do you need integrity for? If a nigga convince you there's no codes, then he can convince you that you don't need to have integrity. You don't have to have your own code of ethics as a man and say, you know what, certain shit I'm just not gonna do. You know, why? You don't have to have that. Because if a nigga tell you that whatever the street ain't no codes, you don't have to have your own level of integrity as a man to say this ain't some shit I'm supposed to live by. This is what's going on. This is where we are. And it's cool because we understand where we are. But just acknowledge that that's where we are. You know? And these are the type of niggas that's giving these messages. These are the messages that they're giving out. You know, so just understand that. So, you know, I'm going to end it by saying that, man. I just want to end it by saying that. Niggas ain't no civilians. When you engage in street activity, in the streets, criminal activity, when you involve yourself with gang activity, when you involve yourself with criminal activity, when you involve yourself in anything and you profit and you benefit off of that lifestyle, I don't give a fuck how soft you are, how tough you are, because most dudes that street ain't tough. There's a difference between being involved in a civilian and being tough. Not being tough don't make you a civilian. Just mean that you're not tough. There's a bunch of street dudes that ain't tough. You know? Some of the so-called toughest gangsters in the world told on niggas. So who gets to determine that? Oh, you wasn't supposed to let him in the gang. Somebody should have said, yo, you know what? You wasn't supposed to let Sammy Bull in the gang because he told on niggas. Who do you know? How you know who somebody is you let them in the gang? First of all, the gang activity shit is stupid. But if you decide as a man, right? You decide as a grown adult man, I'm rolling with this. This is my lifestyle. I'm profiting. I'm benefiting. I'm going to get all the perks of being with the denying trades. I'm going to scream this out. I'm going to scream out all of the shit, you know, all the gang all day. I'm going to scream. I'm going to get all the perks and benefits. Now that the time comes to live a lifestyle, I mean to deal with the consequences, you're a civilian. Okay. Listen, I guess if a nigga say things, you know, away enough times, they make themselves believe stupid shit. I guess if a nigga say it to you, right? And what's gonna happen is this. There's a lot of civilians, right, who are going to agree. And they should. Every civilian in the world should agree, like, yo, if you don't know anything about nothing because you abide by the law. You lived your life by the law your whole life, so you understand and expect the law to take care of you, as they should. You pay your taxes. You're not trying to get away from none of that shit. You deal with the law. You deal with everything that comes with being legal. That's who you are. That's what you stand on. So you're supposed to feel like that. You're not even supposed to understand anybody who doesn't. But when you, unfortunately, had, through desperation, through choices, through whatever, engaged in criminal activity, engaged in street life, in criminal activity, and you benefited off of that. Unfortunately, when you benefit off of that, the rules mean that there are consequences to the benefit, right? There's consequences that come with that activity. So most people are really not built to deal with those consequences. And that's the reality, is why most people should be, and probably nobody should be in the streets. But when you made a conscious decision and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take my chances, and I'm gonna deal with what come as a man, and you deal with that, Only thing a person can do is respect you. They don't have to think you the smartest person. Don't probably say, damn, I think it was stupid what he did. But you know what? As a man, he made a decision, and that decision came with consequences that man decided he was going to deal with. That's just part of life. But these niggas will try to tell you something different. I'm here to save these kids, man. And the sad part is, these dudes ain't saving nobody. All they trying to do is make a couple dollars, man. I would never, for what? You know, I don't, listen to me. Once I lose respect for you, I don't even want to, why would I utilize my platform to talk to you? You know? You know, for what? I'm just saying this, man. Just beware. Beware of the niggas that talk with a forked tongue. You know, one day, Danny was a civilian, right? Because it fit his narrative. But if you see the post on my page, he called him a snitch. And he told us that a civilian could never be a snitch. But yet and still, he called the man a snitch when it was convenient for him. You know? But who am I to say? You know, who am I to say? Who am I to say? Anything? I'm just saying this, man. Don't be fooled by the fake shit, man. That's all I'm gonna say to you. Don't let the fake shit trick you, because they definitely try. They'll do everything possible to trick you. Don't let them.